Hi everybody, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It is the weekend. We're wrapping up May. It's May 31st, and we've had a pretty good May as far as the markets go, if you were a bull. So this is the weekend video. We'll go over what happened last week in the markets, take a quick review, and then we'll look ahead and see what we got coming up this week. So let's get down to it. Okay, so starting out with our week in review, May 27th, it was a shortened trading week. We did see all the index is post gains this week, despite a little bit of ongoing volatility regarding the tariffs and economic uncertainties. But investor optimism was bolstered a little bit. We did get some encouraging inflation data on Friday with the PCE numbers, and consumer sentiment also seemed to improve a little bit. So again, overall, we saw an improvement or a increase in all the indexes this week, 1.5% to 2%. Real estate and healthcare sectors that gained the most this week. Technology was not there. Energy was the only loser on the weekend, although it was only a marginal loser. And 2-year and 10-year treasuries also backing down a little bit. Those yields came down a little bit. Also, the dollar came down with the yields, which is not uncommon. And Bitcoin pulled back a little bit more this week. We saw a pullback after that run last week, and it continued to pull back a little bit more this week, trading just around 105 last I looked. So that was your week in review. All right, before we continue on, just a quick break, talk about my books that are available on Amazon. You can see there How to Swing Trade and Profiting as an Active Trader, both sort of positioned more for swing trading and position trading. And lastly, my How to Trade Options book, A to Z on how to trade options, including some strategies that I use. And I also will talk about a little bit later in terms of some of the trades I've taken. So you can check it out there. The links to the books are in the description in the video, and yeah, they're available hard copy, e-reader, and audio for whatever you prefer. So let's go and check out some of the indexes now. Starting out, of course, with the treasuries. And you can see here we backed off a little bit on the treasuries on the 2-year after coming back up into an area where expected some resistance. And again, we'll see what happens as we get some jobs numbers this week, and potential for more for the Fed to either cut rates or keep them where they are. Again, 10-year backed off a little bit as well from that pop-up. So a little bit less concern in the market for need for higher rates. Again, here's the Dow. Again, we're really chopping in a range here right now, and it's going to be sort of a common theme as we go through the indexes, where we had a bit of an inside day here, or an inside week on the Dow. You can see we're really range bound, and again, I kind of feel like we've had this big push up, really a huge run back up through April and May. And now we're just sort of biding time here. Either we're going to consolidate over time and then continue to push higher, or we're going to start to break down depending on what happens next month as we start seeing if some of these prices start to increase due to the tariffs. Qs, same thing. Again, I'd be watching this range that we're in right now. Again, same with the SPY. Don't want to keep repeating myself here. Big run up, and now we're just sort of consolidating that big run over time here, waiting for something to happen. So we've already filled the gap on the IWM, came back up again range bound, and that's where we sit right now with pretty much all these indexes. The fear index, the VIX, really right back down again. So no market participants really fearing any big sell-off fears right now. And the dollar down with the treasuries, not surprising. And let's take a look at Bitcoin, what it's doing right now, 104,400. So that's where we are right now. We're kind of into an area where I would expect to see some support. So I might, if you're interested, you might consider adding, or it's taking a position now if you haven't already, because we're probably going to find some support in this area right here on Bitcoin. So that's the indexes. Holdings, I'm still holding gold, and this has been a couple week hold now. And again, we seem to be stuck in a range here, but I'm kind of looking forward to see if this is actually going to break out here, because we had pretty significant pullback, and now we're kind of consolidating over time, and I'm looking for another push higher, especially if we get an uptick in inflation, which is what people are expecting in June. IBIT, I'm still holding some of this because I'm still profitable on this. I've taken some profits, and might even consider adding back here on this pullback. This is my way to play Bitcoin. PLTR, still holding some here. Again, this has been a longer term hold, and had a nice run up here on Friday, and still looking maybe as it's right at all-time high now. Closed at an all-time high, so looking for a further move there. Silver still holding some here. Again, we're kind of range bound. This break of 30.50 would be make me pretty happy, but right now we're just holding here. And UNH, again, this is from the last week, done this 2 weeks now, sold some downside puts. If you're wondering how that works, you can always check out my book on Amazon, How to Trade Options, but basically selling puts, collecting the premium, and then keeping the premium if the stock does not go in the money, which I'm hoping it doesn't. So yeah, so that was another UNH trade. I don't know if I'll do that trade again next week, but it does look really range bound, and those selling puts and calls is a good strategy when you've got a range bound stock. And that's pretty much it for active swing trades right now. You can see here, I'm still been scouting this meta trade. We do seem to be stuck in a range like we are with a lot of these indexes. 660 seems to be the high, 620 seems to be the low. So I think sort of this gap fill here could be a good area to sell some puts, or sell some puts at 620 and then buy some puts to protect yourself around 605. That's a possible trade, because I think Meta has some pretty good support here. So maybe look at a trade like that next week. Be hesitant to sell some calls, just because I think there's more of a potential for an upside break on Meta. As far as some of the uranium trades go, I mean, it's been a winner since that executive order came out to start building more nuclear reacting plants to generate electricity for all this AI that we're going to be using. And you can see here what happened last time. There was a big run up. We had a top and then a pullback and a double top. I'm looking for something similar again here. We had a big run up, big push up. We dropped back here. We had a big run up again. So I'm looking for a potential double top here, and possibly a short around 57.50, because we're years out from any of this becoming a reality. And OKLO doesn't even have a plant yet that's certified. So could end up for lack of news, we could get a bit of a sell-off here. So we'll be looking for a double top on OKLO. And as I've been saying here, we're just stuck in a range. So just generally speaking, I'm just looking for a break of either a support or resistance level on the SPY. Otherwise, again, I kind of feel like we're stuck in a range, and a lot of stocks are going to trade in their ranges until we get some clarity. And Uber is the last trade. I've been scouting this one for a while too. Haven't taken a trade on it yet, but it looks like, this 82.50 area, which was resistance here. It's where we broke out and retested before going higher. I'm looking at 82.50 again as a possible entry. I know there is some concerns about this robotaxi that's being rolled out in Texas, and that's probably why Uber's had this big sell-off based on the Tesla robotaxi rollout in June here. But I think down at 82.50 might be a pretty decent trade here. So looking at that one. So that's what I've got on deck, and I'm going to be watching for next week. All right, so let's wrap things up. Week of June 2nd, starting out beginning of June. There's your levels on the Dow, Q, SPY, and IWM. We do have some interesting stuff coming up this week, mostly related to employment and jobs. We've got ADP and the employment reports that'll happen on Friday, the JOLTS numbers as well. So that's always something the Fed's quite interested in, the employment data. So we'll see what happens there. And as far as earnings go, we do have a few things that'll be interesting. We've got Crowd that'll be reporting Tuesday. We do have Broadcom, Lulu, and Docu on Thursday after the close. So some interesting numbers there coming out as we get into those earnings next week. As far as this high level view that I see here for next week, I think markets are going to remain sensitive to some of these news bombs, although like most things, they tend to become less and less impactful as time goes on. So tariff news it falls into that same camp there. I know we did get an announcement about another 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum coming into the U.S. That would happened on Friday, so we'll see how the market reacts to that on Monday. But again, markets seem to be trading in a range right now. Just going to wait and see how bad, or possibly if inflation does kick up again as we start to get into June, which is when a lot of analysts feel that's when we're going to see some of those impacts. Dip buyers, I mean, they're still active in the market, still supporting the markets during sell-offs, sort of limiting losses during the trading days. So watch for that. And again, I remain cautious for the long term. Again, this budget bill that's going through Congress, a lot more debt there, and again, potential for inflation to kick back up as we continue down the road of tariffs. So that's it, everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and hopefully we'll see you in the trading room on Monday morning, 8 o'clock. We start with a pre-market show, and then live trading, both in the room with our members and live on YouTube as well. So hopefully you can join us, and we'll hopefully again see you Monday morning. Bye for now.